Our next guest says there's a garden in everyone waiting to bloom. All you need to do is nourish your roots. Joining me now is Janet Verney, author of the book Roots2Wellness, an inspiring story about her journey from the depths of disease to a life of vibrant wellness. I like the sound of that, Janet. Welcome to CT Style.
Thank you.
First, we have to start off with a wellness designer. That's kind of your title. How would you define that?
Well, I think that I look at medicine as being collective, that we pull from different types of healing modalities, and depending on the person, because we're bio-individual, we have to design a plan specific to that person. So I help people to design a wellness plan for them, specific to them.
All right, so we'll get into a little bit about you. You had this mystery illness for more than 30 years. I'm sure there were good days and bad days, but nobody really knows what it is. There's still no answers.
There's still no answers. Nope. I'm in 2 studies at Yale. I did a study at the National Institutes of Health's Undiagnosed Disease Program, which is a mouthful. I said it's a lot like the show House, because they try to figure out the most bizarre diseases, and I spent a week at the NIH and National Institutes of Health, and they couldn't figure out what the problem was. So at the end of the week, I didn't walk away with a diagnosis, but I walked away with wanting to figure out how to get better.
And that's kind of where the book idea came from.
Absolutely.
It's called Roots2Wellness, and what are you teaching people in it?
Well, basically, you need to get to the core. Where's the imbalance going on in the body? How do we unearth what's going on below the surface, rather than just try to mask the symptoms and add this medication or that medication? Let's get to what the root is, the root cause. And then after we figure out what that is, if we can, then we work on weeding out obstacles that might get in our way of healing. And then lastly, we nourish our roots so we can have a vibrant bloom.
Got it. So we're going to bring it down a little bit further here. Epigenetics.
Yes.
Explain that to us.
All right, epigenetics, and I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but what I have learned about epigenetics, working around a lot of scientists, is that epi means surface, and we are all born with a set of genes that can predispose us for cancer or heart disease or diabetes and all these different illnesses. And epi means that the surface of the gene can actually change the way it expresses itself.
Okay.
So by what we do in our lifestyle, in the way the foods that we eat, the things that we think, the medications we either do or we don't take, they can all affect the way our genes express themselves and either prevent or bring on that particular disease.
I'm sensing the garden theme here, correct?
Yeah, you got that right.
Because next you say unearthing the root cause. And as you just mentioned, figure out where this is all coming from.
That's right.
Weeding out the obstacles.
That can be anything from procrastination, where we say, well, I'll get on the treadmill tomorrow, or when I leave this job and get into the next one, I'll start this routine. Or it's a relationship that you've been in forever that isn't serving you any longer, or a job that you absolutely can't stand. All of those things, you need to weed them out if they're blocking your path to healing.
Got it. And then you recommend nourishing roots. I think that makes sense with any sort of garden. You also have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You need the water and the sunshine and all the good nutrients. And so my nourishing, what led me to my wellness is really changing the thoughts that I think. So living in what I call positivity, living from a place of fear to a place of wellness, and spirituality. I think that's another thing I was devoid of for most of my life. So really connecting with what I call a higher power, and that having that absolute belief that I can heal has really helped me. The food that I put in my mouth, food is thy medicine and medicine is thy food. Right? Absolutely. Our grandmothers used to say that, and it's the truth. So really nourishing our food with food. Also, our outside resources, the people that are in our lives, whether it's our dog to, our dog to the practitioners that we work with as partners. Also I have in my book, it's called Putting a Little Wiggle in Your Walk, which is how do we incorporate day-to-day exercise in our life. get our
So
bodies moving.
little changes here that you've made with your life, and you've seen improvements.
Huge improvements, yes.
Fantastic.
Huge.
And I know you're sharing your story of a couple upcoming appearances.
I do. I'm going to be in Mystic at the Mystic Cinemas on February 28th with Dr. Brian Clement from the Hippocrates Health Institute, which was very instrumental in my healing. He'll be talking about sugar and the cancer connection. And then I'll be at March 7th, I believe, at the She Shines Women's Expo in West Hartford. And I'll have a booth there and some book signing and also some great shirts that are made out of organic cotton.
Very good, Janet. Well, the book is on the screen there, Roots to Wellness. I'm happy you found peace with all of this.
Thank you.
You're moving on.
Yes,
sounds
it's
great.
exciting. And I feel
where
great.
can we find your book?
It's on Amazon.
So
Yep.
very good. We'll look for it there. Thanks for coming on CT Style today.
Thanks for having me.
All right.